Okay, welcome. All right. So, for more than 25 years, I have been walking the path rooted in earth-based spirituality, Celtic wisdom, folk magic, earth-based energies, energy healing, and all when it comes down to it is deep listening. And my work has always been remembering my relationship, our relationship with the living world and with nature, as she is one of my greatest teachers. And when I am seeking guidance, I always turn to the seasons. What is the seasons, the wheel of the year doing? And when I'm looking for wisdom, I turn and listen to the land. And when I'm working with energy, I pay attention to the waters, the stones, the trees, the winds, and the creatures who share this world with us, the seen and the unseen. And as someone who identifies as being a witch, yes, I do, I often describe magic very simply. Magic is intention and relationship. And it's working with the energies of nature, nature within us and around us in order to create change, healing, connection, and transformation. So when Robin invited me to be part of the summit, I was like, oh dear, what should I teach? And I found my mind wandering to these teachings I stumbled across just a few years ago. And they're the ancient Irish teachings of the Three Cauldrons. And I'm sure you know why that caught my attention, not because it weaves many things that matter to me, such as nature and relationship, but it also perhaps I'm fascinated being a witch with cauldrons. That just makes sense. Now, cauldrons in Celtic mythology, cauldrons are vessels of transformation. They nourish, they heal, they inspire, and they renew. And what enters a cauldron rarely leaves unchanged. And what I love most about this teaching is that suggests the three cauldrons, they suggest that we carry three such vessels, cauldrons within us, not outside of us, but within us. And the Three Cauldrons teachings offer a map of human experience and a way of understanding the relationship between body, between heart, between spirit, and the living world. And through the energies of sea, and land and sky, we are invited to remember ourselves as part of a greater ecology, one that exists not only in nature, but also within our own being. So we're going to explore these inner landscapes. And the Cauldron of Warming is connected to the sea. And then there's the Cauldron of Motion that is connected to the land. And then the Cauldron of Wisdom connected to the sky. And together they form an inner ecology. And so my hope is for our time together is that it offers you an opportunity to slow down and listen deeply and reconnect with your own wisdom. And remember that you too belong to this living web of life. But before we begin, let's take a moment to arrive and ground ourselves. And if you feel called to, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. There's no right or wrong. You're welcome to place your hand on your heart. That's what I tend to do. And together we're going to take three intentional breaths. We're going to, with intention of dropping down. The first breath, we're going to drop down to our body. The second breath is going to be an intention of dropping down to our heart. And then the third breath is going to be with intention of dropping down to the divinity within. And as we exhale, I'm going to invite you to do a gentle sa sound. But again, do whatever you feel comfortable with. No right or wrong way. So we'll do this together. So with the first breath, breathing in, dropping down to our body, breathing in and out. And you may silently say or out loud, I am here. I am here. And now with the second breath, with an intention of dropping down to your heart space. We're going to breathe in, breathing in and out. You may want to say, I am held. I am held. And now with our third breath, we're going to bring our awareness and drop down to the divinity within us. So breathing in and exhale. I honor the sacred within me. I honor the sacred within me. Nothing more you need to do. Just breathe and allow. And I invite you to repeat after me. I am the sacred. I am the temple. I am the altar. I am the prayer. I am the love. So be it. And so it is. Good. That feels better. I don't know, I might have needed it more than you beautiful souls, and ground myself. All right, so let's begin. So the concept of the Irish teachings of the Three Cauldrons comes from an early 8th century old Irish poem called the Cauldron of Poesy, a mystical teaching that describes 3 energetic centers within the body. And these centers influence our vitality, our emotions, our wisdom and creativity, and our relationship with the world around us. Many cultures have maps of human energy bodies, many, and these are just a couple. Some of you are familiar with the chakra systems from India or the dantians of Chinese tradition. And I find this always fascinating that cultures are separated by vast distances and they didn't have Wi-Fi and all this stuff, often arrive at remarkably similar teachings and understandings. So I just find that fascinating. It shows you how connected they were to nature, nature within themselves and each other. And so while there are similarities, the 3 cauldrons offer a distinctively Celtic way of understanding ourselves. So we're going to dive into that. So these are the 3 cauldrons. The Cauldron of Warming, this one is located below the navel and is associated with the sea. And it is the realm of the body, the emotions, instinct, your ancestors, and the deep waters of the self. But there are different interpretations as well. So you might hear of other things. I've heard people say the Cauldron of Warming is connected to the land. But this one really resonated with me. And then we move to the Cauldron of Motion, which is located in the heart center and is associated with the land. And it is the realm of relationship and belonging and purpose and our everyday lives. And then we move to the Cauldron of Wisdom. And this is located within the head and associated with the sky. And it is the realm of insight and inspiration, intuition, and divine connection. And together they form, what I like to think of as an inner ecology. And I love these teachings because it reminds us that the same wisdom that exists within the landscape also exists within us. There is no separation. And when one cauldron is nourished, the others benefit. But when one is neglected, the whole system feels it. It strains. And, the health of one influences the health of all. And that's one of the greatest teachings, I think, of the cauldrons is that balance is not found in just one part of ourselves, but in the relationship between them. So we are going to just experience these for ourselves. So let's dive into them a little bit deeper. So here is the Cauldron of Warming Sea. And you'll see where it's located in the pelvic region below the navel, and is said to be upright like a proper cauldron at birth. And it remains so throughout our lives, for it is a source of physical life itself. And the cauldron is associated with the sea, the realm of the body, instinct, ancestry, the deep currents that sustain life. And just as all life emerged from the waters of earth, we too began our own lives floating within the waters of the womb. And the seed lives within us all. It lives in our emotions, our blood, our ancient wisdom carried through our ancestors, those cellular memories. And I thought I'd share ways that we can nourish them and how they can be depleted. So the cauldron warming is nourished by anything that makes us feel grounded, vital, connected to ourselves. Obviously, nourishment in the way of nourishing good food, drinking clean water. It's finding nourishment in the ways that we move our body, that's supportive and life-giving. Rest when we're tired. I'm not very good at that. Spend time near water or in nature. That's my favorite. Honoring our emotions rather than suppressing them. I always say to my circles that, if you're having a bad day, roll around in it. Make it the best bad day ever. Like just immerse yourself in those energies. Because a lot of times I find we want to just toss it aside, ignore it. It's not fun happening. I'm fine. I'm fine. No, I make it an epic day. So I'm really good at honoring my emotions. It's ways of nourishment is listening to our instincts, listening to that first voice that you hear, your soul's truth, and trust what our body is telling us. It's exploring and healing ancestral patterns that may no longer belong to us. So that's a really wonderful way of nourishment. It's creating healthy boundaries that protect our energy, keeping us away from energy vampires, and breathing deeply. Just what we did. That 3 breaths, that is nourishment for the cauldron of warming. And when this cauldron is well tended, we often feel grounded, we feel vital, we feel connected to our instincts and nourished, whole, whole within ourselves, content. And what can deplete this cauldron? Well, of course, ignoring the needs of our body, chronic stress and overwhelm, lack of rest and recovery, suppressing those emotions rather than feeling them, not allowing them to have a voice, disconnection from nature. Boy, do we see that here, I can find in North America. Living only in the mind and forgetting the wisdom of the body. And in fact, one of the most beautiful teachings I learned, the longest journey from an indigenous elder, my Cree elder, and the longest journey you will ever take is about this long. And that's from here down to your heart. So it's about living from the mind of your heart. So when we're living only in this mind, that's not nourishing. What depletes this also is carrying ancestral stories and wounds or beliefs that really are not for us to carry. And giving away our energy without replenishing it, and not receiving. So we deserve to receive as well as much as we give. So when it is depleted, we may feel exhausted, disconnected from our bodies, and emotionally overwhelmed or unable to access our inner fire. And when we're going through these lists, the invitation is not to judge ourselves. The invitation is simply to notice, we're human. This is what we're going to do. We're going to fall down many times, but the point is, it's about getting up. I always love that saying, fall down 7, get up 8. Give yourself permission to be human. And the teachings of the sea, well, the sea teaches us to listen to our bodies, to honor our emotions, recognize that life moves in cycles, the ebb and flow of life. Some days we're full of energy and vitality, and some days we need rest. And some seasons call for action, and others invite us to slow down. And the wisdom of sea is not found in forcing it or striving, it's found in learning to listen, to trust the signals of the body, and to honor what we need. And remember that we too are part of nature, not separate from it. So maybe if we'll have time, I think we'll do a little activity if you feel called to. You can rub your hands together. This energizes it. You have like chakra points there or energy points there, and you can clap. I won't clap and startle you. And you feel it warming. And sometimes you feel an energetic pull. You're like, oh, they're charged and ready. And you can put those hands on your cauldron of warming just down here and below your pelvic area. And if you want to, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze and just tune into that area and feel the warmth beneath your hands. And just breathe into this space. And just imagine or visualize or sense or feel the waters of the sea within you. The waters of sea that are ancient and wise, life-giving. Just notice any sensations, maybe emotions or memories. There's no right or wrong experience. Just simply listen. And maybe there's silence, and that's good too. And maybe let's reflect on a couple of these questions and see what might arise. Am I nourishing my body? You might get a yes or a no. There's no right or wrong, just awareness. Am I listening to my instincts? What helps me feel rooted, alive, and fully present in life? Good. All right. Thank you, Cauldron of Warming. And now we will move to the Cauldron of Motion. Let's see here. Cauldron of Motion. Land. So the Cauldron of Motion resides in the center of the chest, near the heart and lungs. And you'll notice, unlike the Cauldron of Warming, it is said to be tipped on its side at birth. And it's through our experiences and through our relationships in our joys and our sorrows, our grief and our own personal growth, that's when the cauldron will gradually begin to right itself through those experiences. And this cauldron is associated with the land. So the realm of relationship, belonging, our purpose, how we move through the world. Land is where life is lived. It is where we meet one another, where we discover friendship and community, where we experience love and loss, challenge and growth. It is where we learn who we are through our relationships with others and with nature and ourselves. One of the most important relationships is ourselves, with self. And again, as this cauldron comes into balance, we learn to share. When it's balanced, we learn to share our gifts more freely. We become more capable of giving and receiving love and navigating change. Oh boy, change. A lot of us struggle with change, and I'm one of them. And when it's balanced, we're able to walk our path with greater authenticity and purpose. And like the changing seasons upon the land, this cauldron is always moving and it responds to our experiences and reflections, the condition of our emotional landscape. So, ways to nourish this cauldron of motion, is building meaningful relationships. It's spending time in community. And, just in the last few years, we had a lot of separation, and people I feel are still struggling finding their way back to community. It's about giving and receiving support. How hard is it I find, to ask for support? Like, oh, I'm fine, I got it. And really, I don't. So that brings balance. That nourishes this cauldron. It's expressing our emotions honestly, which I already said I'm pretty darn good at. It's creating those healthy boundaries. It's spending time in nature. It's it's following what brings meaning and purpose to our lives. What juices your soul? What ignites you? What gets you excited? You know? And it's about sharing our gifts and talents with others. And practice compassion toward ourselves and others. Compassion. I feel like that's missing a lot these days, and especially we're our own worst critics. And yeah, knowing and practicing that we're human and humans tend to fall, and that's okay. And it's allowing ourselves to receive love and also give love. So when this cauldron is balanced, we feel connected, to ourselves, to others, and to the deeper purpose that calls us forward. And what can deplete this cauldron of motion? Well, isolation and disconnection, unresolved grief or resentment, giving endlessly without receiving support, losing touch with what brings meaning to our lives, staying in a relationship that drains you rather than nourishes you. Again, that's suppressing the emotions, rather than expressing them, feeling disconnected from community and nature and our own purpose, and living only for others while neglecting ourselves. I find that's a big one when you have children. We tend to live more for our children. And maybe that's just me, I don't know, but I don't think so. So when it is out of balance, we may feel stuck, disconnected, resentful, isolated, lonely, uncertain of our own direction. Like, where do I go? I don't know where I stand in this world. Again, this is just an invitation to observe. We're not here to judge. We're the sacred observers. We can't change anything we don't look at. So we're just shining the light on those things. And teachings of land. The land teaches us that we discover things to ourselves through relationship. It teaches us that we do not discover who we are in isolation. We discover ourselves through our friendships, our families, and our communities, our work, our challenges as well, and our connection to the living world around us. So it's not avoiding our challenges that we like to tend to avoid. The land is where life is lived. It is where we learn to love, where we learn to grieve. I have this story. I try, sometimes I Miranda off, but hopefully I'm okay. But I had to do a eulogy for a friend who chose maid, and she asked if I would do her eulogy. So I wrote her eulogy, and of course I said, "Well, Wendy, do you want me to read it to you?" And she goes, "Of course." So we I went to her house with her husband, and her son and daughter were there, and we sat on the table, and I brought out my eulogy, and I held my friend's hand, and she held mine, and then we were reading it, and it's like the world disappeared, and in that moment, and it was just her and I, and I've never felt so much love ever, and also at the same time grief. And it was interesting. We were crying, but we were loving, and we're smiling, and we were just in despair. And I thought, isn't that interesting? That made me think of the Cauldron of Motion, because it is about love and grief, and how those two can live so beautifully together, hand in hand. And that for me was really, I felt the energy of true balance of this cauldron and know that both have a place within each other together. So I don't know. I felt like I needed to share that. So yeah, this cauldron, the land teaches us this is where we learn to grieve and where we stumble and we grow and we heal and we begin again, just like the seasons. We're always beginning again. I don't know why we hang on to stuff. Look at nature. She's always letting go, and then she's growing, then she's letting go. So, just as the land changes through seasons, this cauldron is constantly moving and evolving and asking us to remain engaged with life and open to the lessons each season brings. So, it's all about participation, it's about showing up and allowing ourselves to be shaped by our experiences rather than closing our hearts to them. So let's quickly we'll do that same activity, rubbing our hands and just connect with our cauldron of motion within our hearts here, our chest. And just feel that energy. Mm. You can close your eyes if you feel called to, or just soften your gaze and just bring your awareness to your heart space. And feeling the rise and fall of your breath beneath your hands. Maybe imagine yourself standing on the fertile earth, feeling the ground beneath your feet steady and supported. This is where life unfolds. This is the place where relationships are formed. This is a place where gifts, your gifts, meet the world. Just notice what's present within your heart. There's no need to change anything. Just listen for a moment. Maybe reflect on these questions. Where am I being called to grow? Am I giving as much care to myself as I offer to others? What wants to be expressed through me at this stage of my life? What wants to be expressed through me at this stage of my life? Good. Gratitude to the cauldron of motion. All right. Now, cauldron, oh, there we are, of wisdom and sky. And this cauldron of wisdom resides within or above the head. And it makes me laugh because it's upside down at birth. And it gradually turns upright, gradually, maybe a little faster for others. No judgment. And, and it gradually turns upright through, again, life experiences, spiritual growth, moments of profound joy, but also moments of profound sorrow and transformation. This cauldron is associated with the sky, the realm of insight, intuition, inspiration, and divine connection. You know, if the sea were to come from, if the sea is where we come from, and the land is where we become, then the sky is where we remember. And the sky invites us to lift our gaze beyond the immediate concerns of everyday life and see a larger picture. It's perspective. It's a realm of vision. It's wonder. It's possibility. And, those mysteries that cannot always be explained. Just as the open sky stretches endlessly above us, this cauldron reminds us that wisdom is not simply knowledge collected over time. Wisdom is the ability to see connections between ourselves and others, between experiences and our purpose, and between the visible world and the unseen world. And as this cauldron turns upright, we become more open to inspiration, to intuition, to guidance, and a deeper understanding. We begin to trust that quiet voice within us and recognizing that wisdom. Um, you know, and it comes from listening. And for me, like I always think of my inner wisdom is usually the quietest of voice. And it's usually the first voice. And then the ego comes in and says, no, no, you can't do that. Oh, that's stupid. No, it's the first voice. And it's usually the simplest of words, yes, you can. Go down this way, and no reason. It's just a knowing. Yeah. So ways to nourish this cauldron of wisdom. Spending time in silence and reflection. One of the hardest things to do, I used to do this in when I taught soul coaching many years ago. And we did different practices each day and activities. And one of the activities was to actually do nothing. Nothing, like nothing, no TV. And that wasn't a whole day. It was just even a little short period of time. And it was up to you how long you did it for. And it could be from a few hours, it could be to a half an hour to a few minutes. And that was the most challenging thing I've ever done. Like, usually, I have some noise in the background. I love having music playing, TV on, like just, but you can have anything. So silence, that's something I don't think we offer ourselves very often, and even more than ever with all these distractions. So this is one of the things that can nourish you. And also know that there is no such thing as a small step. All steps create momentum. So if that silence, you begin with 10 seconds, well, man, that was probably more than you were doing before. And then you can practice and increasing it, right? So celebrate that. Celebrate all the steps that you take. So yeah, that's a way to nurture this cauldron. Journaling nurtures this cauldron. Exploring our inner world, processing those things. Spend time beneath the stars and watching the sky. Go outside and absorb the moon's energy. That nourishes this cauldron. Remain curious and open to learning. Forever I say I'm a beginner's mind, and I love learning and growing. I don't think I'll ever stop, I don't know nothing. It's listening to our intuition, not doubting it, trusting your soul's truth. It's seeking wisdom rather than certainty. It's reading, studying, exploring ideas that expand our perspective. So it's not staying rigid in this is what I believe. No, be open to other beliefs and ideas. Create space for beauty and mystery. Play. Connect with something greater than ourselves. I was raised in a very, not a very religious household, but I was raised in a Christian home, kind of loosey-goosey. And then obviously, yeah, I follow a different path. No right or wrong. But I was always raised like my mom always said that, my grandma actually ended up becoming a Jehovah Witness um and we just honored it because we feel, this world is hard enough and it's nice to have something that to believe in that's greater than yourselves. As long as it's balanced and healthy and it's for your journey, I find. But it's nice to have something that you can believe in. This helps turn that cauldron. And when this cauldron is nourished, we experience clarity, we experience insight, inspiration, and we start trusting our own inner knowing. And what can deplete this cauldron? Well, constant busyness, distraction, and it seems like we are in a world of distraction right now. Holy moly. We're what depletes it is not allowing ourselves time for reflection. We are living entirely in a world of reaction mode. We're always in reaction mode. So that is depleting. It's dismissing our intuition. It's becoming disconnected from wonder and mystery. It's consuming information without taking time to integrate it. And I feel like that's missing in a lot of, with so much information online, people are not taking time to integrate what they're learning. It's what depletes it is believing we must have all the answers, you know, and it's fear of uncertainty or the unknown. So when it is neglected, we may feel confused, disconnected from our intuition, or unable to see the bigger picture. And the invitation is not to force wisdom, no, it's to create space for it, to slow down, to listen. And the sky, the teachings of the sky teaches us perspective, right? When you think of an eagle flying across the sky, it has a grander perspective of things. It reminds us that there is always something larger than our immediate concerns, fears, and circumstances. When we look to the sky, we are invited to lift our gaze beyond the horizon of our daily lives and remember that we are part of something much greater than ourselves. And the sky is a realm of mystery. It's a realm of intuition and inspiration. It's a realm of the questions that cannot always be answered, but they can be lived. It teaches us that wisdom is not simply knowledge. Wisdom is ability to weave together experience, insight, intuition, and understanding. It is learning to trust that quiet voice within, the one that speaks beneath the noise of the world. And the wisdom of the sky is always found in spaciousness. Yeah. So let's do rubber hands. So this is where where you feel called, you'll place it either on your brow or your crown. Rub those hands. Yeah. Hmm. And again, if you feel called to, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just bring your awareness to the upper cauldron. And just imagine standing beneath the vast open sky. Feel its spaciousness, its mystery, its endless possibility. Notice any images or sensations or quiet knowing that arise. Just simply remain open. And to connect, you might want to reflect on these questions. Where am I seeking guidance? What does my deeper knowing already understand? And what truth is quietly waiting for me to trust? Good. Offer gratitude to the Cauldron of Wisdom. So just a little reflection. The goal is not to have one cauldron stronger than the others. Just as the sea, the land, and the sky depend upon one another, so do these inner landscapes. And when one cauldron is nourished, it supports the other. When one is neglected, the whole system feels its absence. And perhaps most importantly, the cauldrons are not fixed. You know, in the ancient teachings, the cauldron of motion was on its side, and the cauldron of wisdom begins upside down. But through experience and growth and challenge, love, loss, learning, they gradually begin to turn upright. So, you know, life is not a straight line, it's cyclical. The cauldrons continue to respond to our experiences. There may be seasons when cauldrons feel vibrant and full, and again, there may be seasons it feels depleted and out of balance. And there may be times when life just turns us upside down. That is part of the human experience. The invitation is not perfection. The invitation is relationship, to listen and to notice, and tend to what is calling for your attention. All right. So yeah, I thought it'd be nice to just bring these cauldrons together within you. And you know, it's a short one, it's a visualization. You're welcome to turn off your screen. You're welcome to close your eyes or not. It's totally up to you. No right or wrong. But I'll take you on a journey into the sea, into the land, and to the sky within you. So you may remain seated, it's not very long, or you can lie down wherever you feel comfortable. And there's no right way to receive this journey. So I invite you to take a slow and deep breath in, breathing in, and a long, gentle breath out. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Allow your body to soften. Allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment. Feel the earth supporting you beneath you. Feel the breath moving through you. Good. Now bring your awareness to the landscape within, the sea, the land, and the sky. 3 realms, 3 teachers, 3 cauldrons. Just take a moment to honor them. Now I invite you to bring your awareness to the area below your navel. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast and ancient sea. Its waters stretch beyond the horizon. The tide moves in and it moves out. Steady, rhythmic, alive. This is the sea within you. The waters of emotion, instinct, ancestry, of life itself. Notice the movement of these inner waters. Notice what they wish to show you. Perhaps they're calm. Perhaps they're turbulent. Or perhaps they're simply asking to be witnessed. The sea teaches us to listen, to honor our cycles, to trust our body's wisdom, and to remember that we are part of nature. Take a few breaths here. And just listening and receiving. Now allow your awareness to rise gently into your heart. And imagine and visualize yourself standing upon fertile earth. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Solid, steady, supportive. This is the land within you, the place where life unfolds, the place where relationships are formed, where love is shared, where grief is carried, where purpose emerges. Notice what is growing within your inner landscape, what is asking for your attention, what is ready to be nurtured. The land teaches us to belong to ourselves, to one another, and to the living world around us. Take a few breaths here, receiving its wisdom. Now allow your awareness to rise into the space of the head and beyond. Imagine and visualize yourself standing beneath a vast open sky, endless, expansive, filled with possibility. This is the sky within you, the realm of inspiration, intuition, wonder, and mystery. Notice the spaciousness here. Notice what becomes possible when you stop striving and simply listen. The sky teaches us to remember, to trust. Take a few breaths here, resting in openness. Now visualize, sense, and feel the sea, the land, and the sky existing together within you. The waters below, the earth beneath your feet, the vast sky above, separate yet inseparable, each supporting the other, each contributing to the whole. And feel yourself standing at the center of this living landscape, balanced, connected, and whole. Good. As we prepare to return, offer gratitude to the sea, to the land, to the sky, and to the wisdom they carry. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And begin to notice the room around you. And gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And open your eyes when you're ready. Good. Well, thank you everyone for joining me for this beautiful journey. And I have a little blessing for you before we head off. But I'll leave you with this. May the sea remind you where you come from. May the land support you, who you are becoming. And may the sky help you remember the wisdom that has always lived within you. May your cauldrons be tended with care. May your heart remain open to wonder. And may you walk gently in this world, knowing that you belong to the great web of life. Our circle is open, but unbroken. May you carry the cauldrons within your being. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Thank you.